What's going on, folks? Fight Day live chat, UFC Vegas 54. Alexander Rakic trying to make his claim for a title shot by taking on former champion Jan Blachowicz. Another co-main event with the light heavyweight scrap is Iwan Kutalaba against Ryan Spann, Chukagian against Hebos. We got a lot of interesting fights sprinkled out throughout the card. From a betting perspective, I'm not a big fan of it. Personally, I only have 3 bets on the card so far. Well, not so far. That will likely be it for me in terms of bets for the card. Yeah, not too much I liked on it. We have 11 fights usually on the, that's kind of on the lower scale of the amount of fights that we normally have. We're getting used to between like 13 and 15 fights nowadays. So 11 fights is going to feel like a soft night. I believe the first fight is at 7:30. Let me just quickly confirm that. I've heard conflicting reports everywhere in terms of what time the fights are kicking off. Apparently, Cage Fury FC 108 is taking place right now. Early prelims 7:30 start. I believe main card would be 10 o'clock if that's the case. So yeah, interesting. We have another next week is the last event actually in the consecutive streak for the UFC right now. Next week is the barn burner between Holly Holm and Ketlin Vieira. Then we got a weekend off. Then we come back with Volkov and Rosenstrike, and then after that is the big UFC 275 card. A couple interesting fights on that. Can't wait to break that one down for you guys as well. My wedding festivities are taking place the first week of June, so we'll do what I can to put out content in time for you guys there. But we'll likely be, well, not likely, but definitely will be inactive at least from like Monday on. From May 30th week, I believe it is. It's the week of Volkov and Rosenstrike. But I'll try to put out the podcast nice and early that week, so at least you guys got some picks for me. But yeah, will more than likely be incapacitated, either very busy or very drunk, one or the other. But we'll be back in full force for obviously UFC 275 the following week. So yeah, all right, let's get into the card tonight. Like I said, 7:30 p.m. Eastern start time. 3 event or sorry, I should say 3 weekend winning streak I'm on right now. So we had PFL and Bellator the last 2 days. PFL went great. Chelsea Chandler got the dub. It was a little bit closer than I wanted it to, but she gets the dub. That parlay moved on to Bellator yesterday, which had a Denise Keyhold's stop or ending off the parlay there. It was a 1.25 unit parlay at minus 125 to win 1 unit. And yeah, I let the recency bias get to me on Denise Keyhold's, and very weird of me, right? Like the last thing obviously I did the tape study and all that, but the lasting impact was how close her fight with Juliana Velasquez was. And then I kind of obviously took into consideration Watanabe's last fight against Liz Carmouche. Not a good look. Now she's going up against a more vicious striker. Essentially, she's going to get put on ice. And it was looking nice early, but obviously she drops the ball there. Watanabe ends up getting the submission victory. And I got to say this. Normally, I don't have access to Bellator props on the main bookies that I use. But seeing that Watanabe's submission prop was hovering between plus 1,000 and plus 1,400 was mind blowing to me. I would have definitely taken a little bit of a poke on that as well. 0.1 units would have hedged more than enough for me there. But shout out to anybody that was on that Watanabe sub. I've cast on her in the past against Alejandra Lara, so I know what she brings to the table. But man, that's what recency bias can do. I mean, it got me. It still gets veteran MMA handicappers to this day, but it's all about minimizing that as much as possible so that we can get the whole picture in place there. So hats off to anybody that cashed on Watanabe this past week or yesterday. Sorry, I should say. But yeah, we're back to the fights today. So I got 3 bets today. If I end up having a losing event here, picks go back to being free, but I'll always give out a free bet. Obviously, the free bet that I'm going to give you guys this week is 3 units on Katlyn Chookagian at minus 172. I like going back to the well with her. In fights where it seems like it's a good stylistic matchup, and here it really feels like that. I will pay the juice on Katlyn Chookagian because she's a very reliable fighter, similar to Neil Magny. I mean, it's just a matter of time before time and age start catching up to them. Like we saw in Neil Magny's last fight against Max Griffin, he won it, but he slipped up a little bit in that first round and made it way closer than it should have been. I'll still lean on him depending on the matchup that he gets moving forward. But yeah, same thing I can say about Chukagian. And it looks like she's really rounding her game out together as well. So yeah, I'm pretty big on Chukagian tonight. 3 units there. I got a 4-unit lock of the night play, and then I have another 2-unit play on the main card. No dog of the night for me this week. I don't feel quite comfortable or confident about any dogs, right? I was leaning Candelario quite a lot. I'm still going to predict him to win, but I don't know, man. Like I am a little bit put off by the weight miss. Well, he ended up making the weight, but mix that in with the sickness. I heard the sickness, is all gone. He's all good, right? But having him miss weight like that, not a good look to me, especially with all that other stuff considered. So I ended up backing off of Candelario as an actual bet. And on the other side, it was also Frank Camacho that I was considering. But the amount of people on him is kind of scaring me a little bit, right? Add in the layoff, add in the possible durability collapse that he might be facing now at this point in his career. Again, Torres doesn't deserve to be the favorite in this spot, but I just don't have the balls to sack up and actually bet on Frank Camacho. So 3 plays, no underdogs, all roughly in that minus 200 or below. Obviously, Chukagian minus 172. There you guys go. All right. Oh yeah. Also, if you want to hear what those other 2 picks are, check the Patreon link in the description below. $5 a month. That's it. That's it. If I lose, I'm sure there's going to be people cheering me for me to lose, so I can go back to free bets. All on you. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's see what the chat is saying. That's what we're pretty much here for. Olajuwon Dream in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by, my friend. More with less saying surprised the line on Chuksa hasn't been steamed. Yeah. I mean, people always have that hesitancy with her for some reason. Like even when she fought Cynthia Calvillo, plus 200 underdog there, that was a no-brainer bet for me. And I like Chukagian, I like Calvillo, but I think people took way too much from Chukagian losing to Valentina in the way that she did. Not everybody can be that successful grappling her and just holding her on the ground and finishing her there. And that's what people are expecting to happen. So we'll see. Evan L saying, yeah, me too. I thought it would have been up to minus 200, probably because more are putting money on her by decision. Yeah, I'm open to the KO possibility here at plus 500. We'll see. Just CQ saying, grade by parlay for me, all 3 girl fights to see round 2 at minus 200. That seems viable. That's chalk. That's heavy chalk there. The only one I could see finishing early is possibly Jandiroba if she's able to get held to the ground and establish that top position. Maybe she could pull off a submission. That's the only one I'd worry about, honestly. I think the other 2 at least go over a round. TJ Mizzy in the chat. Chris for the Love MMA. Appreciate you as always. Gopov always reminding everybody gambling is very dangerous. And then he shouts out the Anna Glim Florian shirt. Love it as well. Chris for the Love saying feels like a lot of trap spots here. Just said that on Twitter. Not a lot of action for myself. Yeah, I agree. Troy Noak saying, what are your 2 favorite totals tonight? Good question. I obviously have a bet on one of them, but I'll give you guys a couple here that I'd consider. Over 2.5 in Petrosky and Maximov. Lee Arujo over 2.5. Obviously, that's chalk there at minus 305. Nascimento versus Hadley minus 175 on the under 2.5 or over 2.5. I like that. I think there could be some quick violence in the Camacho and Torres fight. So under 1.5 at plus 115. I don't mind that too much. Grand Smoka under 2.5. I love that line there. Kutilaba span over 1.5 is a little bit of a gut feeling. I mean, if we do see Kutilaba do what he's doing or do what he did in the last fight and continue to show discipline throughout his game, I like it. And at plus money, not too bad. Again, if he goes to his wrestling, if he just stays calm and doesn't blow his wad right off the bat, that over 1.5 might look very easy. But I don't have any money on it myself. Just throwing it out there. And then lastly, the over 3.5 in Rakic and Blachowicz. I like that as well. I do think that it's going to be a slow-paced fight. I think we'll see Rakic control it either with his range, maybe in the clinch, or even try to go for takedowns. But I don't think we'll see either guy exert to maybe Blachowicz because he has the 5-round experience, but maybe not Rakic, right? Rakic might look to try to get the full 25 minutes in, get that experience, and get ready for a possible title shot as long as it's not too boring. So there you guys go. Christopher Love saying congrats on the marriage. Well, technically married. Again, it's all just wedding festivities now because of the whole COVID situation. MPTV saying congrats. She's lucky. Of course she is. TJ Mizzy, I'm on Rakic pretty big. Minus 155. That's a nice early snipe there. Very nice early snipe there. Tristan Charles saying thanks for letting us know ahead of the time you'll be offline. Much appreciated, bro. It's still some time until then, but I definitely have as much of a heads up for you guys here now. Jacob Cunningham saying Jan is going to fold his full leg Reyes. We'll see about that. Jan with the second round KO. I can see it. Socrates in the house. Appreciate you stopping by. Boone in the chat. Always appreciate the love, my friend. Jason Comtoy saying Jan is 39 and look horrific in his last fight. Rakic all day. That's another thing that we got to take into consideration. I just spoke about it, right? Recency bias. And I'm not saying that, Jan is going to win this fight or anything like that. My prediction is Rakic, but let's not just focus on that last fight. It's a whole combination of things, right? I do think he's on the decline, but I wouldn't just say just because of the Glover Teixeira fight is why we should pick Rakic. Chris saying Jan doesn't ever really KO anyone. Polish power nickname may be deceiving. It's only been recently, right? It was during that run, so we'll see. MPTV saying I think you should pull the trigger on Nascimento, especially after seeing how much bigger he looks than Jake Hadley. Yeah, he's an intriguing spot, man. I want to be so confident in the the new kid there. This is going to be his toughest test by far. By far, this will be his toughest test. Christopher Love saying Rakic has a good chin. If on Yan by decision, plus 400 is the bet. Probably. Josh Nan saying what's good. Appreciate you stopping by. Okay in the chat. Thank you for coming by. Josh Nan saying I got Angela Hill plus money. Bang that. Not a bad spot. I do think that Jandiroba wraps her up though. No bet on my part there. Jesse Q saying thanks, bro. No worries, my man. Gotham Knight. I think Angela Hill should pull out with just volume, possibly, right? It's all about if she can keep Jandiroba off of her. Jandiroba is a slick one to deal with, especially when she starts wrapping girls up and dragging them to the ground. Josh Nan saying Canalero KO first round. Wow, that's bold. Christopher Love saying, yeah, I've been tempted on Hill by decision if Erna guesses after the first round and a half. Trying to grapple, never know. She just needs to secure two, right? And I also think that if she does get solid positions on the ground, she will more than likely be able to find a submission. So we'll see. Gotham Knight saying Alan Patrick looked rough at the win. The guy, he's getting up there in age, and he, doesn't really have much body fat on him either, man. He is cut up. Rick the Ruler saying I'm not confident in anything, but the over in the Arujo and Lee fight sketchy card for me. Still looking for a second leg to parlay up. Yeah, it is a rough card. Like I don't feel too confident in terms of parlaying anything. Like obviously I have my lottery tickets, but in terms of like actual money, like legit money, yeah, not too much I'm feeling crazy about tonight. Dylan Oswald saying, call me crazy, but Davey Grand sub at plus 1100 worth a little bit of a sprinkle. He does have some submission victories under his belt, right? I do think that Smoka is the better jiu-jitsu player, but like if he clubs and subs him, it's a possibility. It is a possibility. I think that fight is going to be fire. Even Smoka by sub at plus 750, that is a misprice of a line in my opinion. Like similar to Kana Watanabe last night, like with her plus 1400 submission line, plus 750 on Smoker by sub. I gotta sprinkle a little bit of that. Josh Nan saying Verna's fire dies out after a certain point. Hill should be more motivated. I'll put my money on motivation, but women's MMA is tricky as fuck. I feel like I say it every week, so I won't get into it too much. I just don't think that women's MMA is that tricky. Like, again, like you will lose bets, right? I obviously lost on Key Holtz in a parlay last night, but like it is the most profitable part of my game is picking women's MMA fights. I feel like some matchups are like clear as day, and other matchups are just like they are sketchy, right? Like Leah Rougeau, I feel is a little bit sketchy. Lee should win on volume, but I could see a possibility where she ends up getting stuck on bottom, and Rougeau squeezes out the first two rounds, right? That's the concern that I have in that. But like Chukagian and Hebos, that seems kind of one-sided. Like, I think a lot of people, I think the reason why the line is not way crazier, the minus 200, is because people expect Chukagian to get grinded out similar to how Shevchenko was able to do to her, right? Hebos is smaller. Hebos is coming up a weight class. Her jiu-jitsu is good, but Chukagian's jiu-jitsu is pretty good too. She does a good job of scrambling, and Hebos isn't this crazy top pressure grappler either, right? So she might get a takedown. She might be able to get a little bit of top time, but I trust in the fact that Chukagian will be able to get back to her feet and absolutely touch her up, similar to what she did against Viviane Araujo a couple fights ago. So, yeah, I don't know. The whole like it's women's MMA like cop out is just grinds my gears a little bit. It's the same as men's MMA. Men's MMA stupid shit happens just as much. Case in point, somebody fighting this tonight, Michael Johnson torches up Thiago Moises for a 10-8 first round and then gets heel hooked in the second round. Like, oh, it's men's MMA. You know what I mean? If that happened in women's MMA, people would say that's women's MMA for you, but it happened in men's MMA. So, all right, I'll get off my women's MMA high horse. I apologize. PayPal One Money DFS said free PayPal. I got banned for telling Ali shut your whore mouth. I'll try to get that. I'll try to get that thing going there for you. That hashtag. I did see him. If I'm not mistaken, PayPal. I believe that you're talking about the that tweet that he put out saying that Oliveira doesn't deserve the title shot. It should be Beneil Dariush versus Islam Makhachev. Like, I swear Dariush is one of his fighters. Shut up. You know what I mean? Tracy T saying grand submission left my house off. Yeah, right. He it could, again, club and sub is the only way I see it. Like, I don't see him taking down and then methodically getting a submission. It would have to be a club and sub situation because we've seen Smoker get tapped before. It's possible. Sean V saying Rakic hasn't shown anything to deserve being a big favorite here. We'll see. We shall see. Hype MMA saying, how you feeling about having the card late today? It's odd. I don't like it. I like, first fight, 4 p.m. Eastern. That would be my go-to. And maybe the guys on the West Coast at 1 p.m. Eastern, they probably might not like it, right? They're just getting their day going, whatever the fuck, like getting settled into the day. I prefer 4 p.m. Eastern start times. I want early start times. That's it. Get it done with so I can have a day after. Because now this card's not, it's a 6-card main card. 6-fight main card starts at 10 p.m. Eastern. They usually allot half an hour for every single fight. So you're talking about a 1 p.m. finish time roughly. Yeah. Or 1 a.m. finish time, Eastern time. Whereas the West Coast, 10 a.m. or fuck, why do I keep saying a.m.? 10 p.m. finish time for you guys. That's fucking dope. I wish I could live on the West Coast. Desi Giron saying M towards money line. I would not bet him as a favorite. Again, these Contender Series guys, they come into the UFC as slight favorites over guys that are in a bit of a UFC slump, but they've had UFC competition. Frank Camacho, especially, right? They come in as the favorite because they're starting all these guys on the regional scene, but they get these steps up in competition and then fall short. Fernie Garcia last week. I mean, it happens day in and day out where these Contender Series guys come in. They come in as favorites and they just drop the ball in their first fight. Again, I hate to call it out for my guy TJ Laramie. He drops his first fight as a minus 200 favorite, maybe even more than that, to Derek Minner. And he showed in his next fight against Pat Sabatini that he is a good jiu-jitsu player. It was just the Dana White Contender Series like debutante spot that he was in. I'm finally in the UFC. Now I'm facing a step up in competition. He had a momentary lapse in judgment or decision making. Pays for it. Gets tapped out by Derek Minner in 30 seconds. But everybody's slamming Pat Sabatini inside the distance in Laramie's second fight in the UFC. And you see that he is a legitimate grappler. He can hang with the best of them. That's why Sabatini was not able to get the finish there. That's what I'm trying to say about Manuel Torres. This game settled into the UFC before we play him as a favorite against a guy who could, on his best day, destroy what we've been seeing of Manuel Torres. I'd be careful with that one. With that said, I don't have a bet on Camacho, right? That's why I don't even have a dog with an I play for today because I'm just not confident enough in dogs. Camacho is my prediction, just not a bet. MPTV saying Alan Patrick looked like he couldn't walk literally. He's great. Yeah, he does. He's just so old now. Like he's one of those guys that should hang it up at this point in time. T-Rex saying Patrick and Johnson can be really good or really bad. Exactly. Kyle Davis, Kyle Davis saying, sorry if I missed, but did you swap off Candelaria after weigh-in? I was looking to bet him. I am no longer betting him. Still picking him to win, but I'm no longer betting him. MPTV saying Smoker is super skilled, but I think his name, Last Samurai, says it all. He has been in too many wars. That's what I love about his style. He goes out there and he fucking scraps. He either tries to look for the finish or he gets finished himself. Let me just pull off the numbers here specifically. I know him and Davy Grant combined 34 out of 44 fights have finished inside the distance. For Smoka specifically, what is that? 6 out of 25 fights have hit the scorecard. So 19 out of 25 fights have finished inside the distance. And as of this moment, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 straight fights that have finished inside the distance, dating back to the first fight he had after he got let go from the UFC the first time. He went on a 3-fight winning streak and then got signed back to the UFC. He's been trading wins and losses ever since coming back. If the pattern remains, he pulls off a win tonight, but it'll likely come inside the distance, and that's what I like the most. He has not reached the third round. Sorry, his first fight. Let me rewind a little bit. His second fight after getting cut from the UFC is the only one that reached the third round. Every other fight finished in the second round during that run. That's what I like about Louis Smolka fights. The guy brings it. Like that Sumu Darji performance, if you guys remember going back and watching that, that was his first fight in the UFC. I believe he was a solid underdog in that card as well, or on that for that fight. And he pulls off the second round armbar victory. All right, Josh saying Vig isn't as high in women's MMA. I understand the profit value. There you go. Gotham Knight, Hulk or Superman. I'll go with Hulk. MPTV, I love that Chukagin has never been submitted. I believe that's correct. I could be off on that. I know she got TKO'd by Shevchenko. I don't ever recall, and then TKO'd by Jessica Andrade. I don't think she's ever been subbed. Good shit. Prince of Mischief says, by Hebus has a 101 record, does she? Jimmy the Drunk saying, if I lose my Rakic pick, my excuse will definitely be men's MMA. There you go. Socrates F saying, you're the women's MMA whisperer. Of course, it's easy for you. Hey, anybody could be good at it. Trust me. Again, I got it wrong last night. I got keyholes wrong. It happens, but I feel like more often than not, I can call them. PayPal saying, yep, Ali annoying as fuck. That's exactly the tweet that pissed me off. Exactly. I know. I was about to reply, but I'm like, it's not even worth it. I'm sure other people are already getting to him. James Vidal is saying, let's go Maximov. Good luck today. Big play there, man. Big favor. Let's see if he can get it done. Josh Nan saying, totally understand. I speak from my betting perspective. Women's MMA has been tricky for myself. I didn't mean to get you going on women's MMA. Big fans here, much love. I didn't take it as like as an insult or anything like that. Or I don't want you to think that I was like shitting on you or anything like that. It's just, I hear it so often, right? I get how it can just be thrown into a conversation. It's like just nitpicking about a specific thing. It's all good. It's all good. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses, right? Women's MMA seems to be my strength. Slight favorites seem to be the bane of my existence, the bane of my track betting record. And normally I'm good with slight favorites and minus 180 and better. Slight underdogs and favorites minus 180 or minus 170 and better. That's my sweet spot. And women's MMA. Evan now saying, yeah, the late start is weird. Usually these kinds of cards start earlier. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe playoffs, basketball playoffs. Alex, he's saying Luke Trainer bust my Hail Mary parlay. Just need Rakic and Grant. Yeah, damn. I saw a lot of people on Luke Trainer. I didn't study that myself, honestly, too much. Troy Noakes saying Chukagian and Kutalaba parlay. Kutalaba, I'm picking him to win, man. But like light heavyweight, how much knockout power rise Span has? It's all a hesitation for me there. Prince of Mischief saying a lot of light heavyweights are going to decision lately. I got Rakic by decision. He could have a late finish, but he doesn't pull the trigger. Plus 200. What is it? FanDuel round 4 or 5 decision for Rakic. That's always a good play, I think. Todd Clark, women's MMA should be easier to bet. The ladies are often less well rounded, and in most cases don't have enough mass to get crazy KOs. Yeah, exactly, and that's a big part of betting, right? That like you could be dominating a fight, but if you get KO'd or if you get dropped, that changes around significantly. Rob Font against me, Chito Vera, right? You could be better, technically speaking. You can get more volume off, but if you get dinged and you get dropped, you're screwed. It doesn't happen as much in women's MMA, right? Very, very rarely. Like very rarely do you see a woman actually go out. We saw one this past week actually with Invicta and Lindsey Van Zandt, which got knocked out by Jillian DeCourcy. Like you don't see that, especially at 105 pounds. That was crazy. But yes, less often that there's a flash KO, which means that the actually better woman will more than likely win more often than not. And another thing that I feel like people don't take into consideration enough is the size actually has more of an impact in women's MMA than it does in men's MMA, especially if it's a grapple heavy approach that that opponent is going to take, right? Perfect example is Jasmine Jasdovicius against Kay Hansen. She was the bigger woman that night. She was a plus 200 underdog, but she used that strength against her opponent and was able to pull off the dub there. There's been a couple underdogs over the last couple of weeks, uh, even this year, that have cashed just because they're the bigger women. I'm trying to think of another one off the top of my head. I know I did cash another big women's underdog earlier this year. Sorry, let me just pull it up for you guys real quick, just to drive home the point here, and then I'll continue on with the questions. Uh, Macy Barber, she wasn't the bigger one, but she is physically more imposing than she's physically more imposing than Montana De La Rosa. I swear there was another one that I had. Stephanie Egger versus Jessica Rose Clark. 1 unit at plus 170. That was cash for me, in my opinion. Yeah, and then Jasmine Jazz Vicious earlier this year, plus 205. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So there's been a couple where size does matter in women's MMA at times. Blessing saying, how much is a unit for you? $200 per unit. Mahler 138 saying, I'm on Smoka. I could see it, man. The more that I thought about it, man, plus minus 300 on Grant, not a good look. Tard Clark saying Smoka's chin is gone. Maybe, possibly, but it's going to get tested against Grant tonight. Smoker Grant is going to be a banger. I absolutely agree. Sean V, he's not knocking out Grant, so I guess sub his only chance inside the distance. Possibly, right? He's put together some decent boxing combinations and really done some good body work against his opponents in the past. Alex C, I guess I'm the only one taking Petrosky. I could see it happening, man. It's going to be a closer fight than the odds indicate, in my opinion. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Let me just quickly rifle through some of these because we're coming close to the end of the stream here. More with less saying is Smoko just bad for a grappler. He gets submitted a lot, doesn't have much pop. His hittable and now is turned suspect. He's been a good aggressive fighter that comes forward and just lets his opponent feel the pressure. Sometimes it works against him. Like against Casey Kenny, he was doing well until he got hurt. Like he has that going for him. He can break some fighters. He broke Suma Darji, right? He broke Ryan McDonald. He broke Jose Alberto Quinones. He's capable of doing it, but it's a certain level of opponent. I thought he could do it against Vince Morales. Morales turns out has a little bit of knockout power. Arturo saying Nascimento had the over 2.5. I like it. Frank Jordan saying fight day is the best day. What's good? Appreciate you stopping by, my friend. Sean V saying Smoker Chin definitely gone. Let's see. We can't just jump to rash conclusions off of one knockout loss. Okay, let me quickly just rifle through the last few here so I can give you guys my totals parlay and then get the fuck up out of here. Luke McCann saying, what do you think of Tyra Johnson Chukagian parlay? I'm picking Candelario, but I don't have the balls to bet him, so Tyra might end up being the better side there. Johnson, I can't trust anybody in that fight, so good luck to you for even putting that parlay together. But Chukagian, yes, I do like. Urban Men in New Jersey saying, what's up, Lock? Do you think the odds are a little off for Maximov Petrosky? I do, but I don't think it's going to end up mattering. I think Maximov still gets the dub. Rick the Ruler saying, confidence level Maximov Petrosky, like 6 out of 10 confidence, I believe I have for Maximov. He should win. Yeah, Jimmy the Drunk saying Carolina over Gordinas. But that's another one like where it's like that was a legit change in weight classes, right? I'm talking about it within your weight class, yes. But yes, that is an example. Size did matter there. The SPTF family with the $10 donation. Appreciate the love, my friend. I hope I've been helping you cash over the last couple weeks. Frank Jordan was saying Macy Kiason was a size bully last week. I didn't think she'd be able to size bully her. I really didn't, but she did. All right. Hi, Mark Watson. Can Petrosky's sub Nick? I think it's possible. He's a strong dude and a legit, like, I believe he's a black belt, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah. Josh Nansing, what do you have your money on tonight? The only free bet that I have for you guys, 3 units on Chukagian minus 172. I got 2 more. And again, for those of you who have been with me for a while, I normally have free picks until I hit a 3-event winning streak, or at least 3 weekend winning streak when there's more than one event per week. And then once I hit a losing weekend, then I go back to free pick. So only free pick today out of 3 bets. I have one is Chukagian minus 172 at 3 units. TJ Mizzy with the $5 donation. Appreciate the love, my friend. Really, really means a lot. Thank you. Todd Clark saying, I already bet home. How does Vieira win? I'm agreeing with you. I haven't done it yet, but I am agreeing with you. All right. Okay, let me give you guys the totals parlay that I put together. Not a big one here. Again, this is a tougher card. See a lot of fights that could potentially finish inside the distance. Some that might go over 2.5. So I think I only have a 4-legger for you guys. So here we go. Nascimento Hadley over 2.5. Smoka Grant under 2.5. Kutilaba Span over 1.5. And Blachowicz Rakic, over 3.5. Once again, Nascimento Hadley over 2.5. Smoka Grant under 2.5. Kutilaba Span over 1.5. Blachowicz Rakic over 3.5. There you guys go. Boob asking favorite DraftKings plays. Let me just quickly. Honestly, I got to make a couple lineups. I haven't even done it this week. Maximov is a decent play. Well, fuck, he's probably really up there. Petrosky could be a good play in terms of control time of his own, right? What if he ends up being the better jiu-jitsu player? It's possible, and at a cheap price, you might get a damn good result from him as well. Who else? Lee, possibly. She does a good job with output. Hadley and Nascimento, I think, are good plays because a lot of that fight is going to take place in grappling, and I think both guys could give or have good control time. I'd lean more so with Hadley having better control time, but yeah, that's what I would say. Camacho Torres, one of those two guys can score highly here. I think there's a finish within 2 rounds of this fight, and I think they could give some good numbers. Chukagian, you're always going to get high output from her in terms of volume. Not too bad of a play there in the mid range. Smoka Grant, again, I think we see a finish there. Kutilaba could be a good play with takedowns and control time if that's where he truly relies on, or a possible early finish. And then Rakic as well. That one's going to be tough because we don't know if he's going to approach it like the Thiago Santos fight, where he just kind of keeps him at distance and throws 30 strikes or something, or it's going to be like the Anthony Smith fight or the Justin Ledet fight, where he is either getting takedowns or finding himself in top control and just getting a lot of control time. So I think Rakic is always a solid play. Maybe not a lean and lock in every single one of your core lineups, but taking some shots on him there would be great. All right. Love you guys. Appreciate the love. Good luck tonight. Again, 7:30 p.m. Eastern start time for the fights. And we will be back at it for next week's Holly Holm versus Ketlin Vieira card. Very much looking forward to that. Can't wait to break it down. And you guys know I love betting Holly Holm. Let's see if this is a spot where I can do it once again. All right. See you guys, and good luck tonight.